What's up everyone, it's Sprometheus, and today I am finally getting around to doing something that I've been curious about for a while, and it's actually been highly requested throughout my time here on YouTube, and that is putting precision espresso baskets to the test. Like a lot of the tools we use as an industry, we've come to generally accept what manufacturers say in their marketing as truth, and baskets are in that same realm. There are some small differences in claims from brand to brand, but in general, the idea across the board is more even, more consistent, and albeit better espresso extractions. And across all of the brands that produce these precision baskets, there's one big reason they all sort of point to help that extraction happen, and that is in the holes themselves. Whether it's the size, shape, number, arrangement, or just a variation of those options, the perforations are what makes them stand apart from the competition. That being said, I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is I can't test these hyper-specific microscopic claims that these manufacturers are making. But what I can test, and this is the good news, I can see if these things actually really matter where it counts, in the cup. So in this video, I'll be putting 4 of the most popular precision baskets on the market to the test: the VST, the Pullman, the IMS, and the Strata, and using the standard steel La Marzocco basket as my control group. But first, a quick word from this video's sponsor, Standart Magazine. If you're into coffee, its culture, and learning about the world around it, Standart Magazine is the perfect addition to your brew bar. With quarterly releases, they shed light on issues both inside and outside of the cafe, highlighting people who elevate the industry, and deep dives into technical ideas like brewing and mechanics. To sweeten the deal, each new issue comes with a sample of coffee from some of the world's best roasters to give you the full sensory experience. You can't beat the combination of fresh coffee and fresh print. Head over to standartmag.com/Sprometheus or hit the Standart link in the description to snag your own year subscription, shipped directly to your door nearly anywhere in the world. So first things first, I need to get that baseline using my standard unpolished La Marzocco basket. And by baseline, I mean mainly extraction percentage, but also the cleanliness of the flow and the taste will be noted. From start to finish, all shots tested will be using the same basic recipe of 17 grams in, 35 grams out in about 21 to 23 seconds. And all the shots tested will be using the same coffee, a medium roasted Colombia Natural from Little Giant that's 4 days off roast. Once I had it dialed in, I pulled, tasted, and tested 5 shots that all landed within the parameters. In terms of flow, there didn't appear to be any major issues, with the majority of shots coming together into a single stream in a reasonable amount of time. When tasting all of the shots, they were a little bitter and thin, lacking some texture but still carried that dense dark chocolate note that makes this coffee so tasty. When tested, all of the shots resulted in pretty consistent and respectable numbers in terms of extraction, all of which falling into the ideal specialty range between 18 and 22%, with an average falling at 18.86%. Now that we have our baseline numbers for the standard unpolished La Marzocco basket, it's time to break out the precision options. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to show and go through the results for each basket, next to the baseline results and their averages. As you can see, the Strata edged out the standard basket in extraction, but not by a significant margin. Of all the baskets tested, the IMS had the lowest overall extraction percentage and over 0.5% lower than the standard, but I'll talk more on that in a minute. The Pullman took the upper hand and had the highest overall extraction of the baskets tested. And lastly, the VST nestled right down into the middle of the pack, but still well within the specialty extraction standards. As you can see, there is somewhat of a difference between all of the precision baskets, and nearly a full percent, which is a lot in coffee, separated the lowest average from the highest. But there's more to that story. Now, generally this is kind of what I expected to see, and my 2 cents on this is extraction is more or less a product of grinder quality and other variables like distribution and brew temperature than anything else. In terms of flow, not one of these baskets stood out as better or worse than one another, and all ran more or less the same through every test shot. But before you get discouraged on the differences between these baskets, at least the quantifiable differences, I want to talk about taste, which is something I don't talk about a lot, but through this whole process, I tasted a lot of espresso and took a lot of barely legible notes. And there's some things I think are worth saying. When switching from any of the precision baskets from the standard, the bitterness and lack of texture from that basket was all but eliminated, but also each precision basket seemed to have its own benefits. In terms of clarity, i.e. the nuance of flavors from your espresso, the best option was the IMS. You may remember it being the lowest in extraction, but that slightly lower amount of solubles in the cup allows those that make it through to be less muddled and blended. Now, I'm not sure if it has anything to do with its tapered sides or less porous base, but it does seem to make those unique single origins really shine. In terms of texture or mouthfeel, the best option is the Strata. Being the basket I've used through most of my espresso experience, this was no surprise, so if you're a lover of espresso because of its more syrupy viscosity, this may be the one for you. And last but not least, if you're all about that balance in texture and clarity, either the VST or the Pullman will always leave you satisfied and smiling.
That's what she said!
Personally, the Pullman will be my daily driver moving forward due to that balance and its glove-like fit with my beloved Big Step. Well, now that your head is likely swimming in data like mine was after tasting and testing all of these shots, I do have some final insights on precision baskets. For one, at least from my tests, none of these really kicked up extraction in any major meaningful way. But regardless of the brand, they are worth it, purely because what is extracted, or through some kind of witchcraft that I don't fully understand, espresso shots do taste better from a precision basket. So they're clearly onto something when it comes to how these baskets are produced. And it would seem that the shape, size, finish, amount, or angle of the perforations do make a noticeable difference in the cup. And that's all I really set out to find. So now with all those numbers and observations made, it's time for me to wrap this up and pass the question on to you. What are your thoughts on precision baskets? Do you use them or do you not use them? What do you think about the science behind making them? And if you have any other burning questions about coffee stuff, don't be shy, drop them in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see you next week. And a big thank you to the July Patreons, Ads, Jacob P, Christopher, Squeegee Rowe, Brian, Andre, Sean Noel, Spookus, Samantha, Claire, Stephen, Alexis, Josh B, Bound Copy, James K, Josh Horrison, Corey C, Curry, Jeff Roth, Joey N, Thomas B, UK Espresso, Tim, Jason C, Jerry, Matt Ray, Home Barista Coach, Gumby, Zachary B, Robert Underdunk, Jeffrey R, BJK Cafe, Daniel P, Mike B, Brian M, Tyler M, Barista Michael, Sebastian, Matthew C, JRC, Arthur L, Absolute Stephen G, Jose Lauren, Keefe, and Stephen A, and of course a big thank you to the Barista and Barback tiers. If you want any information on my Patreon, there's a link in the description and in the upper right hand corner right now. And of course, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications of new videos posted every Friday. Follow my Instagram at Sprometheus for content throughout the week, my blog at Sprometheus.com, my coffee at littlegiant.coffee, and as always, stay caffeinated. Ponyboy